Hello, my name is Derek Brown, and this presentation is going to be over SSH, which is Secure Shell, and this is for Isa4220 at Kennesaw State. We're going to go ahead and start. All right, for the first slide is what is SSH? SSH is short for Secure Shell. It is a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecured network. SSH provides a secure channel over an unsecured network by using a client-server architecture, connecting a SSH client application with a SSH server. And it works over port 22 using TCP connection. This slide is going over how SSH works. Like I said before, it is a secure alternative to a non-protected login. It was made to get rid of, stop using Telnet because Telnet is unsecured and it shows everything in plain text and it's unencrypted and all that, and it's a way better file transfer method than FTP. It's more secure. Well, the protocol works in the client server model, which means the connection is established by the SSH client connected to the SSH server. The SSH client drives the connection setup process and uses a public key cryptography to verify the identity of the server. After the setup phase, the SSH protocol uses strong symmetric encryption and hashing out algorithms to ensure the privacy and integrity of the data that is exchanged between the client and the server. So it's just using keys and the open up encryption. I'm going to go to the next slide. This slide goes over illustrates how it works. All right, it starts off with the client. The client initiates the connection to the server. The server sends the public key over, and it's negotiation parameters and open secure channel, whatever goes over, and the user logins to the server host operating system back to the server. All right, for this slide, I'm going to be going over OpenSSH. OpenSSH is what we'll be using in class, and it's the premier connectivity tool for remote login with the SSH protocol. It encrypts all traffic to eliminate eavesdropping, connection hijacking, and other attacks. And these are the other services they provide, but we're only going to be focusing on the SSH protocol. And if we were to use the Windows version of this application, it would just be PuTTY. But for Linux, it will be this. We don't have a GUI, but this I figured having the picture on this slide would, I guess, benefit people. Well, I guess, but this it's pretty cool because with SSH it's like they're saying shh, which is funny to me. But yeah, continue with the next slide. Well, I'm going to teach you how to install OpenSSH on our server. Uh, I said, I wrote in terminal type, but on the command line, since we don't have a GUI, type in sudo app update. This is just to update the system, make sure everything's all updated. Make sure you're prompted to go ahead and install the application, which is sudo app install OpenSSH server. And when you do that, you'll have to enter your password to your user. And after you enter your password, you have to press Y to continue with the installation. And when you're finished, you could check to see if everything was installed correctly and if it works using the sudo system control or system CTL status SSH, and this is just this line right here that I put. And when you do that, if you see active and active with the running, it is working properly. My hardware recommendations for Open SSH and the SSH protocol in general is disable empty passwords, disable X11 forwarding, and public key authentication. I'm going to go through with each paragraph. With disable empty passwords, accounts should be protected and users should be accountable. For this reason, the usage of empty passwords should not be allowed. This can be disabled with going through the config file for it and changing it using the sudo nano. Well, I use nano. You can use V, but I use nano, sudo nano to change up the text in the files. Uh, the second one I said, disable X11 forwarding. The X11 protocol was never built with security in mind, as it opens the channel back up to the client. The server could send malicious commands back to the client. To protect clients, disable that, and you do that same inside the config file. All these you can just go to the config file and change your text. Uh, public key authentication. Instead of using normal password based login, it's better to use the public key authentication. Keys are considered much safer and less prone to brute force attacks, which is somebody just using as they try to figure out your password in a number of attempts. It's not possible with this public key authentication. You do all this by doing the text editing in the files. And for the next slide, I'll show sources. These are the sources I used. And thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.